United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Next, approval of minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review? Are there any comments?
No comments. I move that we approve the minutes of October 21, 2024.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. There you go, sir. Who am I signing that? Okay, public participation. We don't have any this evening. Brendan, you want to start with the director report?
Yes, thank you. Just as long as when you guys can sign the minutes and send them this way. Thank you. All right, just a brief maintenance update. They've been working on fall cleanups, preparing common for the tree lighting and athletic fields for winter, finishing up fall seeding, and we'll start a late fall fertilization next week. They've been working on the school properties on the weekends, getting excuse me, leaves cleaned up. They have some left to do at Francis Wyman and then over here at the high school as well. Those are the last two that they have left, and they'll probably circle back to the other schools because I'm sure leaves have blown around, and we'll check those as well. And then they'll be working on town buildings. They're working in the parks during the week, doing leaf cleanup there as well. Excuse me. The Toro 6040, which was the infield machine that we were successful in obtaining a warrant article for last May, came in, and we hope to get it out there for some renovation at the center school softball field. The versatility unit will allow us to become or be more efficient in the ball field prep next spring and through the summer. We're excited to have a new machine and thankful for town meeting support. We also received the Bobcat, which is a compact track loader. So we did the tracks on it rather than the wheels. That also came in, and we did have to order a trailer for that. So we are awaiting the trailer, hoping to have it end of this week, beginning of next week. And then we'll also hopefully put that into play in some of our late season prep work, and then it'll be ready for for winter, for snow removal as well. Athletic field improvements. We're continuing to make improvements to the athletic fields. We've done the backstop at center school. Backstop is being worked on or replaced at Rotary as well, and we've done we have new player benches coming in for center school as well. So what they did, new backstop at center school, new protective fencing for dugouts, which really there was never dugouts there. The benches were far up on the hill out of the way. They'll now be down closer. That has become a popular adult softball field for us. Once the youth sports have finished using it at night, it becomes and after the season becomes an adult softball field because it has so much room into the outfield. It doesn't conflict with the baseball. So we're working on finishing that up. And then I mentioned the new player benches. We have backstop at Rotary and working on scheduling a meeting. I know our irrigation consultant finished up. He got tied up on another project towards the end of the summer, so looking to schedule a meeting with him to go through that plan, and then we'll have an idea of trying to formalize all of our irrigation into a document and then get it all on the same page, so we're similar equipment all over. It makes replacement much easier. I don't know if you've noticed, in the veterans area in the town common, in September, the select board approved a renovation of the veterans area on the common, which includes the addition of a flagpole for the Space Force. And it also includes the extension of the landscaped wall in the walkway that are currently in front or behind and in front of the flagpoles that are there. So they are working on that now. New flagpole was installed on November 5th, and then the walkway work began last week. And this work is being funded by the Veterans Council, being paid for completely. and they are also putting irrigation in that area. And all the work is being paid or is being donated by contractors to get that area done. So we're excited about that. Art Enos has been spearheading that, and Chris Hannafin, our veterans agent, has been working on it as well. And we're hoping to have a nice new area there, and our guys have gone up and cut back some of the pine that's located to the left side of the flagpoles. And we'll have a nice area when we get to the spring, nice new area. I think that's it until we get to new business. Lots of new business in there.
Comments?
Went to the Veterans Day ceremony at the Common. It looked good. Actually, the new flagpole's up and everything looked good, so.
Yeah.
Good work.
I have nothing so far, no.
All right, Kelly.
Thank you. So we'll start with the Land and Water Conservation Grant update. So we are continuing to work with Weston and Sampson to finalize the contract that would provide the final design and bid documentation support. We're hoping to have that finalized in the coming weeks. In the meantime, we are collecting bids from surveyors to have the property surveyed prior to the start of construction. That is a requirement of the federal government that we do get the property surveyed. So we're working on that as well. We've had a few professional development opportunities across the department. We had both Beth Garvey, Administrative Assistant, and Jeff DeSalvo, our Program Coordinator, attended the Vermont Systems Symposium in Burlington, Vermont at the end of October. It was 3 days of learning the ins and outs of RecTrack, or what capacities we might be able to use a little more efficiently. And they came back with some pretty good ideas that we're going to kind of vet out and see if we're able to maybe incorporate them in our day-to-day operations. Additionally, our Handle with Care training happens in November. Emma Andrus, our therapeutic rec specialist, is a certified Handle with Care trainer. And this year we sent our assistant program coordinator, Andrew Mountain, for the full 3-day training, so that he could also become a trainer in the behavior management system, which is the system we use throughout the summer and year-round in our therapeutic rec programs. Speaking of therapeutic recreation, we are working on completing the participant software that we've been working on for the last several months. We anticipate it being completed by the end of the year. And that is something that will help our therapeutic recreation division track goals and participant information, as well as scheduling them for a lot of the activities. So it'll be a staff integrated software, which we're excited about. Winter program registration began on Thursday, November 14th. The brochure was released a week or so before that, on November 6th. The program and TR divisions have worked really hard to provide over 100 programs this winter for the community. There's the all-time favorites, right? Basketball's in there, skiing's in there. And there's also some new programs such as February vacation programming, adaptive drama play for kids, adaptive ski lessons, and so much more. So we want to thank them for all of their work on that. In addition, there is a new special event that we're adding in March. It's called Characters Come to Life, a princess party, where we will invite the princesses to come to Grandview, and kids will be able to go and meet and greet and take some photos with them, and just kind of have a good time, which we're excited about. And then the remaining special events for 2024, there's just a couple left. One is this weekend. We have our 5K turkey trot here. Check-in starts at 8 out back by the Science Center door, and the race will start at 9. And then the following week, we have the tree lighting on Tuesday, December 3rd, starting at 4 o'clock on the Common.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Any questions?
It's been exciting.
Kelly, can I just ask about the participant software for therapeutic rec? You said it's going to be able to track goals. Is that also going to allow the participants to use that to register for programs instead of being caught in the mix of everyone else?
No.
No, so they still have to.
We talked about a number of options when we decided to roll out new software for participant tracking. And the thought is that having rosters in 2 different locations doesn't necessarily work for the way we function as a department. And because a lot of the therapeutic recreation participants also register for all kinds of programs and we provide inclusion support across the board, it would be impossible for us to have 2 modules essentially working on that and be able to merge them together. So it is for goal setting, for kind of tracking participants' growth and, you know, areas that they can work on.
Okay, all right. I just know that there's been a few participants that have expressed some, you know, like frustration because they know that they already have the support at Club Simons, and when they try to register, they can't get in, and so they get frustrated, but even though they know that they have already spoken to, you know, they already know that the support's there, so there's always that frustration. Yeah, so.
Well, all of our programs are first come, first serve, right? So
Yeah.
like, until you are actually registered in the programming, we don't necessarily assign support there, right? But I do think that the program team is working on a solution, a different kind of fix for summer registration. So hopefully we're able to, you know, mitigate some of those concerns across the board for all people who hate registering for summer programs because it's kind of a pain. So we're trying really hard to figure out different ways that we might be able to address that.
And I will say, Jeremy, I don't know if you signed up for any winter activities, but I had no problems. I didn't see anything in social media. I don't know if it's because my guys are getting older, but usually it's like a race to to 6 o'clock for registration, especially for the ski club at Wachusett.
Yeah.
And it seemed to go smoothly on my end, so thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. I'll pass that along to our staff. They worked really hard on that to make sure that it was seamless. And I was off on Friday, but I did speak with Jeff this morning, and he was telling me that Wachusett is full with 100, and there's quite a wait list. So we're excited that the ski programs are growing, and they continue to be successful for us.
Anything else?
I'm safe from the wrath of my kids. I got them into their ski program.
It was a quiet evening. I think the first 10 minutes was a little hectic, but, you know, we had our traditional half dozen to 10 people that come no matter what, and they want to register in person. It's just easier for them, and I think it's a social thing too. And they, you know, after that, would you say by 6:30 it was quiet?
Yeah.
That's great.
So, yeah, the staff does a really good job anticipating any issues that could come up, as Kelly mentioned, and dealing with them when they do, and monitoring social media, email, phones, all at the same time. So, glad your experiences were good.
Let's hope they're as good in the summer.
In the summer, yes.
Fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
Madam Chair, a quick question.
Yeah.
Characters come to life. I got to know a little bit about this. What's going on with the Princess Party? What's going on?
So we have invited several of the most famous princesses to join us here in Burlington, and we are taking over Grandview. So there will be a large group setting where we might do a sing-along, we might do a story. We're not quite sure. We haven't finalized the specifics with them yet. They're very busy, especially this time of year. So, and after that, each princess will have their own room in Grandview, and families are invited to kind of go and check out all of the rooms and take their photos with the different princesses, and just kind of meet and greet and chat with them.
Oh. I know when my kids were little, my daughter was a big princess, especially at Disney. So, you know. Yeah. Are you going on with the cheer?
Oh, yeah.
So they won that. Congratulations.
Yeah, there was 3 teams that moved on from Pop Warner.
Nice. That's good. Congratulations. Thank you.
Of course.
That's awesome.
Just a quick follow-up, Madam Chair. Is that something you have to sign up for or register for, or is it a special
Yep.
date?
No, it is a pre-registration only.
Okay.
Yep. We're limited by the amount of people we can have at Grandview.
What is the date of that?
That's a great question. I believe it's March 22nd.
Okay.
80% sure on that one.
Okay.
It's in March, though.
It's in
It's
March, though.
definitely in March.
Okay,
I think it's the 22nd, if I remember correctly.
great. All right, anything else for Kelly? All right, I don't have anything in the chairman's report. Does anyone have anything on subcommittees?
No.
Okay, New business, Brendan?
Sure. Thank you. So at our last meeting in October, we discussed the revolving account, and as of September 30th, it had a balance of $271,990.13, of which $65,156.48 was unreserved. We had discussed at that meeting that there are some items that we would be coming back to ask to purchase from the revolving account, plus we had not met with our maintenance program or TR divisions yet on capital planning. Usually there's some items that come up in those meetings as well. So we have now had the chance, and I have some of those items that we'd like to purchase out of revolving, and Kelly and I are going to go back and forth with these. So I'm going to start. The first one is a bench in memory of Bill Boudreau, who had worked for the department for 3 decades, the better part of 3 decades. He passed away, as you may recall, in 2023, and at the time we discussed ways to honor him, and we had discussed internally when we did our next quarterly revolving report, doing a bench on the Common in Bill's memory. He was instrumental in getting concerts and movies and family events going, and he spent a lot of time on the Common and making sure families were enjoying themselves in Burlington. So I would like to have a bench installed in his memory on the town common overlooking the gazebo, and I'm requesting the commission vote to appropriate $2,500 from the revolving account to be used for the purchase of a memorial bench for Bill.
Madam Chair, I move that the committee vote to approve the appropriation of $2,500 from the revolving account to be used for the purchase of a memorial bench for Bill Boudreau.
I have a second on that?
Second.
Any comments? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Great.
Okay, so the next expenditure is augmentative and alternative communication, or AAC devices. They're typically tablets or laptops that helps a person with a speech or language impairment to communicate. AAC devices help people communicate through a combination of words, sentences, and images that the device then says out loud. Additionally, users can also communicate by typing or drawing, sharing pictures and videos, or even repeating words that they hear out loud. Our current goal is to have a minimum of 1 AAC device at each of our summer programs, and to assist our participants and staff with communication while participating in our programming. We would like to request the commission vote to appropriate $4,000 from the revolving account for the purchase of augmentative and alternative communication devices.
Any comments, questions?
I'll make a motion that the committee vote to approve the purchase of the expenditure of $4,000 from the revolving account for the purchase of augmentative and alternative communication devices.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a question, Madam Chair.
Yes.
How many of these devices are we getting for the $4,000?
8,
8?
yes.
Where would they normally be used?
So oftentimes you'll see people bring them with them. They'll be carrying an iPad or a tablet with them to programming. So they can be used literally anywhere, up in a play structure, on the playground. They can be used in a group game setting. What we've been finding is that sometimes parents don't want to send their device with their child because they're afraid they're going to lose it, or it's going to break, like whatever concerns they might have. So it's perfectly appropriate for them to be part of the group and participate without one. It just makes it easier for us to be able to use something they're very familiar with, the PEC system, to be able to kind of point to things and communicate with them in a more effective way.
That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Anyone else?
One quick question. So, actually 2 questions really. So one is 8 enough? Like, is that going to cover down on your needs, or is it going to be more later? And then to your point that you kind of just alluded to, is there an insurance policy with them that we can, if they do get, broken or whatever, that they're going to be replaced, or is that included with this
First question, 8, we think is going to be enough. Ideally, we could potentially be looking for 1 per staff member. We want to start with 1 per program, just because we have received that feedback from families saying it would be helpful if you had this available. So we want to see how it goes, and we could potentially come back and ask for the other, I'm going to say half of them at that point. We are looking into what kinds of cases we can put on things, how we can protect them, and looking at what kinds of insurance policies there could potentially be with them. I just don't have the specifics to it, but it is on our radar to take a look at.
Quick question, do any of these devices come in other languages? Like, so Spanish or, because
Yes.
a lot of kids now just speak Spanish right now in the school, so I don't know how our program is, but like, it converts so these kids can
Yes.
learn both ways.
So, yep. The software is developed to be able to do that.
Okay, that's all, yep, thank you.
Ready to go to a vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
400.
All right, thank you. The next request is for fitness equipment. So in an effort to offer fitness programs that appeal to a larger selection of our residents, we need to make sure that we have enough equipment for the participants, and it is up to date. A lot of our equipment is aging out. We haven't bought new equipment in some years, so I am requesting the commission vote to appropriate up to $2,000 from the revolving account for the purchase of various fitness equipment for our fitness programs. Some of the equipment are like steps, step aerobic is coming back around and popular again, new steppers and things like that, that they can use in our class, we store in our closet. No one goes home with it, at least on purpose, so.
Madam Chair, I move that the commission vote to appropriate up to $2,000 from the revolving account for the purchase of various fitness equipment for our fitness programs.
And do I have a second?
Second. Give it to Jeremy.
Okay.
Steve's the
right.
best at doing motions. I
Yeah,
love
I
that it doesn't, it's like Sully. Sully would always be good.
All right.
Just through the chair, I know there's nothing worse than going to the gym and having some old crappy piece of machinery with broken seats and rips and tears, so I think we should maybe make this a regular type of a request to keep it all up to date and in good condition.
Okay, thank you. Yep, definitely do that.
Anyone else? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
400.
Okay. The next one is in planning for our summer 2025 program orientation. Our program staff has worked really hard to put together a well-rounded summer orientation schedule with a number of educational speakers throughout over the course of several days to provide our staff with training and help them succeed in the summer. As we begin to look at summer 2025, we are requesting the commission vote to approve $15,000 from the revolving account to cover the costs of the speakers and educational materials for summer staff orientation.
Okay, Madam Chair, I move that the committee vote to appropriate $15,000 from the revolving account to cover the cost of speakers and educational materials for our summer staff orientation program.
Anybody want a second?
Second. Me and Jeremy, like, we're fighting over.
Give it to Dave. Okay.
We'll go
Any
back and
comments, questions?
One quick question. We do this every year, right? Yeah.
We have been, yes.
I know, I just wanted to make sure that, have the speakers' costs gone up at all, or is it pretty much the same?
They did, I think, since the first year. Hopefully, they level out, but, they're quality speakers that,
Yeah.
we do have some travel costs
Yeah,
around New England and sometimes a little further, so.
nice, excellent.
One follow-up question, Madam Chair. Have we ever heard any feedback from Ways and Means about making this a warrant article rather than taking out of the revolving account?
No, it's never come up.
I mean, they're probably happy that we're spending money that we have.
Yes.
It's a big number.
Yes.
Sometimes when you see numbers, over 10, sometimes they'll suggest that you make it a recurring warrant article.
We have that discussion with them.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Anything else?
One question. So we have this, the summer program, which is our biggest programs, obviously, but do we have any other speakers that we should bring during any other time during the year that we'd put into this figure? I don't know, like, even outside the box, like,
I don't know that we have any currently. I do know that we've talked about bringing some other speakers in to do some educational
like our
sessions
staff,
around
like the
TR.
teachers that teach classes, do they go through, I know they get,
We talked about fitness type things is one of the things we talked about, and certifications and,
I know everyone gets quarried and all that stuff. I'm just talking as far as, you know, this is a community, this is what we're looking for. We're bringing speakers to, you know, on like a 2-night thing. All our instructors come in and they would have to go through
We're working on a year-round orientation, and kind of formalizing that, because right now, depending on which program you work in, there's different orientations for everybody. So we are working on kind of bringing that all under one umbrella and being able to provide that, a similar experience to what our summer staff gets, to our instructors that work year-round. That's something that is a goal of the department to have finalized by 2025. So right now, no, we don't need more than this, but in the future, we very well may, depending on how that shakes out as far as developing expectations and what we want our instructors and our staff to be able to do, the part-time staff.
Yeah.
So, no, but maybe soon.
yes.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nobody? Okay.
Okay, the last request for a revolving account. So prior to the pandemic, we had been working on updating all the park signage, not the entrance signs, but the rules and regulations signs at our parks, playgrounds, and athletic fields. The signage was approved by the Recreation Commission in 2018, and at the time, we were waiting for a new bylaw to go through. The new bylaw was on there, but we had to wait. It has a 60-day reading period, I believe, or waiting period. Then that happened, but then pandemic happened. So, and then we had, last year, we had the update to include the metal detecting, which is on there now. So I'm requesting the commission vote to appropriate up to $5,000 from the revolving account for the purchase of new park regulation signs.
I have a motion.
Madam Chair, I move that the commission vote to approve the appropriation of $15,000 from the revolving account to cover the cost of, oh, excuse me, I'm on the wrong number. $5,000 from the revolving account to cover the cost of purchasing new park regulation signage.
I have a
Second.
Thanks, Dave. Comments, questions?
Question,
Yes.
you think anybody's going to read these signs? Seriously?
I used to work with someone and say, we need a sign for that. We need another sign for that.
I suppose if you want to enforce the regulations, you have
Yes,
to
you
post
have to
something.
have a signage up there. So the more signs you have doesn't make someone read it. If they don't want to follow a rule or regulation, they're not going to, no matter what. But it allows us to enforce it because the sign is there.
I know when we went over this, it was a big deal as far as the signs in the parks and how we wanted to make it right, because if people, you know, at least we have the signs, this is what, you know, the parks rules are and stuff like that. So I know you guys worked on that pretty hard, so.
Did.
Yeah, so that's a good thing that we'll get the new signs up.
So point of clarification, so administratively, all the bylaw changes are good that allows us to do this and put these up without any additional
Yes.
coordination? Okay.
It was a fee change for
Littering?
littering, yes. From 50 to 100 or vice versa. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's what it was.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great, thank you very much. I think,
Can I ask one quick follow-up?
Yes.
What's that leave us with, Brendan, after these expenditures that we've just approved? Do you have a number?
This is 28.5 out of 65, so that leaves us 37.
Okay. you have any plans for that 37?
There are some other items that we're working on as well. So, this opportunity to kind of, get those small, low-hanging fruit things off of our plate that need to be addressed, and there may be a couple other small ones as well.
And one quick follow-up, Madam Chair. Is it fair to say that because we've got some resources in our revolving account that we're charging enough fees for the programs to just keep them level?
I guess the short answer is no. This comes from the summer. And it's not a consistent 65 that gets a surplus that is in there. We had previously talked about a cost recovery program to really recover all of our costs, right? We're not even scratching the surface on our costs. So we are looking to implement that. We are hoping to do it start it in the winter, but we'll see a more concerted effort in the spring for cost recovery. We actually had a meeting today that got canceled because try to make sure everyone's there so everyone's on the same page in the programming unit to discuss those. But the staff has done a good job getting into groups and, starting to really getting the programs into groups and starting to discuss, true cost recovery for the programs, because we do foot the bill on a lot, and I think it's something that town administration would like to see us to recover more of our costs.
Of course.
Yeah, so we're going for less warrant articles and things like that, but, so the answer is really no, that it doesn't mean that we're charging enough. I think the volume of people in programs in the summer has really, that's, we have to plan for minimums and maximums, and when we go over the minimums, we do have a surplus, but that's our way of also spending it back on programs and putting it back into the programs for the most part.
That's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. All right, was that all the new business? All right, you want to move over into old business?
Oh, no, sorry, the capital is also,
Because you had it in
they're
the,
both under old, yep, I put them in the wrong spot.
Okay.
They're both supposed to be in new business, I'm sorry, just
Okay.
realized that. So the other new businesses are capital planning. So at our last meeting, we started discussing capital plan for our 10-year capital plan, and we have now met with our maintenance program and TR divisions and have completed the update to the 10-year capital plan, and we have shared that with you. In early November, we had a preliminary meeting with the town administration to discuss our requests and the process for capital requests going forward. We would like to proceed with the following requests, which would fit in FY '26. The first one I think we're all familiar with. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. The first one is accessible walkways at Simons Park. So a few years ago, we began a three-phase plan to improve accessibility at Simons Park. The first phase was getting people from the accessible parking spots by the playground down to the playground and then down to the wading pool. And it was a brand-new walkway that got installed, completed, and opened for that summer. The second phase is getting people from the street hockey and where our pickleball courts are now to the lower courts. There's a set of stairs, 2 sets of stairs to actually get someone that may need it down. We chose this because it was, one that we could attain. This project could be accomplished fairly easily. So this second phase will improve access from the top courts to the lower courts. So we are asking for $100,000, and we are working with Simon's Trust to support that as well. As you may recall, Simon's Trust does not want to be the sole maintenance source, funding source for everything at the park, but they do like to contribute to projects like this. So our estimate for the project is about $125,000. So we're asking the town to, for a warrant article in the amount of $100,000 to fund this project, help fund this project. So that is the first one. I'm not, we can vote on them tonight, but if you want to just hear them all, ask questions, and then I can get you a little more backup. So I'm waiting on some final information and some of the backup, so that's why I didn't include it. But at least we're ready, and in December, if we're ready to go forward, you know, the town may say, oh, you know, these requests plus everyone else's requests, we have to do some cutting somewhere. You know, I would say maybe we have discussion on them tonight and then take a final vote in December on that, if you're okay. So if anyone has any questions on the accessible walkways.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Do you know what the plans look like? Are they, for example, if you're walking up Church Lane, there's a really steep set of old concrete steps. Are we going to try to make it accessible from the sidewalk on the street, or just accessible from the upper courts down to the bottom courts, and then that's it?
Accessible from the upper courts to the lower courts. So what Phase 3 is getting people from the front of the Visco building down to the pickleball courts.
Okay.
You know, now that the treehouse is in and we have access down to the wading pool, you know, trying to find that access point all the way down. It is probably going to be something that will need to be engineered. We have had contractor come out and look at getting from the top courts to the lower courts, and it's something that can be done without having an engineer do that. So I don't envision, because there's no accessible parking spot out on the street, there's no curb cut, things like that, and I'm not sure there would be enough room to be able to do any kind of ramping, because it is pretty straight up right there. So we're proposing this because you can park in an accessible spot in the park and make your way down. We're hoping, if we're successful this year, that Phase 3 is, I forget where we have it. Do we have it in 28 maybe?
Maybe.
So that is our plan, not to come up, but to
Okay,
come
I
down.
just want to make that
Yeah.
clear. They did a nice job on the first phases.
Yeah,
Very
it's
nice.
excellent.
Very nice job, so that's all I have, Madam Chair.
The next item is the renovation of the Rohannes basketball court. This is a, you know, we have the newer basketball courts over at Wildwood, and then the brand-new ones at Simon's, and they're all busy, right? Rohannes has a great little court over there, but it's seen its better days. We would be looking to renovate that surface there and add some new fencing. Right now, we have an older fence along the wood line that's falling, overgrown. It's been repaired over time, so increasing probably the height of that fence, because I think it's just I know it is, it's just a 4-foot fence now, so going a little higher to keep basketballs from going into the woods and wetlands there. And then also putting in our new basketball support systems, which we've gone to in our parks, the acrylic True Bounce backboards and systems. So we're looking at $150,000 for that.
Comment? I think, yeah, this is renovation is desperately needed, if you've been over there. I mean, it's kind of an eyesore right now. So I'm glad that this is on our list this year. Is there any lighting over there?
There is not. There is not.
Planning on adding any?
Thank you.
It wasn't part of the project. I think having the lit courts up in the center of town and, you know, as part of one kind of lit complex is the way we are going.
They're used all the time up at Simon's. Those
Yeah.
lights are on, and the people are playing until 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
It's a real popular spot.
Wildwood is not lit.
Yeah, Wildwood is not, that has come up. If we were to light, we would probably light a double court, right?
Yeah.
You know,
For the spending of the money, yeah, that makes sense.
for the amount of money,
Yeah.
right? Yep.
Okay. I'm in favor of this one.
Yeah, it needs to be done.
You know, it'll take away some of that. I mean, there are kids who actually ride their bikes from the Rohannes area all the way to Wildwood.
Right.
So you'd have a lot less of, you know, kids having to travel far to get to play basketball, so it's great.
Well, quick question, are we, I should know this. Are we doing over the, the playground? It says playground basketball court, so we're not doing anything with the playground, just the basketball court?
Where are we?
It says physical, it says renovate Rohannes Playground, the basketball court, so it's not playground stuff, it's just,
Rohannes Playground is technically the name of the
The
park.
name of the park, okay.
yeah, all
Yeah,
right.
not the playground is in there, not in
That needs
this.
to be done too, and then, it seems like it's dark in there, like, you gotta take down trees or anything, it seems,
No, I'm just joking.
but you know.
Around the playground,
Yeah.
from the parking lot to the playground?
When you're on Mill Street and you look into it, it just seems like it's like wet and, does it get, I don't,
Yeah,
is it me?
so off the parking lot you're talking about, between the
Yeah,
parking lot and the
yeah,
playground, yeah.
yeah.
We actually, nothing's wet these days, right? But we did have, when they did the parking lot over,
Yeah, and we had issues with that.
yep, we had
water.
drains put in. I don't think this summer, when we did get rain, we didn't have any wet issues in there, so that is kind of dried out. But I understand what you mean about it being dark. I don't know, maybe we could lift some of the branch height a little bit, but I think having a nice shaded area there, kids seem to like to play in it.
Yeah.
You know, it's that wooded but
It
safe,
just seems
yeah.
like it's dark every time I
Yeah.
go.
It does seem dark, but one of the things that I was also going through my head was Wildwood, you bake in that
Yeah.
sun, especially on that court. And now that you've got a nice little shady court too, it might be something where the kids will use it.
Yeah.
but If they're thinking, they would use it when it's 90 degrees instead of the other one. But yeah, it definitely, it does seem dark over there.
Yeah.
Versus, you know, what I'm used to at Wildwood, but it is nice to have a shady area.
Yeah, we can look at possibly, you know, maybe raising the height of the trees in there to allow a little more light to filter in.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some, you know, branches that could be limbed to raise it up a little. Okay. I'm going to have, Kelly's going to present the next item.
So, as you're well aware, we hold over 30 special events throughout the year, and throughout the community, and they're very well attended most of the time. We do recognize, however, that it can be really overwhelming for people who might have sensory concerns. And we are looking to provide a sensory trailer for an option for people to be able to come in and take a sensory break from the event itself. These trailers are specifically designed to allow those who need a quick break in a quiet space, a space that they can go to and regulate through tactical and soothing items, or just take a break. These, you may have seen them in other communities. They have sensory tents, where it's just kind of a pop-up tent with the, what is that called, nylon walls? And we've looked at those, but we believe the trailer is a quieter option for us. It provides more sound barrier, so. Request that.
Adam, do you have a question? Is this mobile? Are we? is
Yes.
this-
Yep.
So how big is it?
It's 20 by 7, so 20 feet long, 7 feet wide.
And it could be used, you know, when it's not at an event, it could be parked at our building. We could utilize it there. So, it could be used different spots.
Use it during, like, summer programs up Club Simon's?
We probably wouldn't put it at Club Simon's, because during their summer programs, we have the trailer that's there, but we could bring it to a park where we might be able to support
So it'll be used a
somebody.
lot.
Yes, absolutely.
Is there electricity and like air conditioning
It would
in there
need, it
too?
would need electricity, it needs like the sound dampening for the walls, it would need electricity for some of the items that are inside the trailer, as well as a cooling system in there as well.
And where will this be stored when it's not in use?
We either store it at our building or at our maintenance facility.
Yeah, I'm all in favor of providing parents who have kids with disabilities options when things go south sometimes at these major events. I think town meeting is gonna have some questions on the price of it.
Sure.
It seems like a lot of money for something that we're not gonna use that much. I mean, but it's there for emergencies more than anything. Did you say we have to add electricity, air conditioning to it, or does it come with air conditioning?
So it essentially is like an enclosed trailer, like you see, like a snowmobile trailer. So we would have to retrofit it with the air conditioning, with the electricity,
Does the 50 cover that?
Yes.
Okay,
and that's where most of the cost comes in, quite honestly.
that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Kelly, this won't take the place of your sensory-friendly events, right?
No, it would be in addition to those. At like a Celebrate Burlington, we'll have the sensory friendly the night before typically, but we'll also have this on site, so that families don't have to feel like they have to choose between one or the other. They could go to the larger Celebrate Burlington event and just take a minute, and hopefully they'll feel more included that way.
Great, thank you.
I'm good. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kelly. The other, next item is something we've been talking about for a little bit. We talked about it this summer when we had some mower issues. But it is replacing our large Toro mower, that's 16-foot mower, with two 12-foot zero-turn mowers in a trailer. The current Toro is 16-footer is 10 years old, has over 5,000 miles on it. The mower is used daily from April through October and is driven over the road to its different job sites throughout town. And, our operators are driving at the speed at which safely the mower allows them to go, while dodging traffic on the roads. We have had an accident in the past. We are hoping not to repeat that. We would like to replace this, as I mentioned, with two 12-foot zero-turn mowers. They will be towed on a trailer and around town to their job sites. The versatility on a little bit smaller 12-foot, it is like your personal 30-inch zero-turn that people purchase for their yards, that we have a couple zero-turns, 3 zero-turns in our system that do smaller properties. We were able to demo this 12-footer last year, and it was, the versatility was awesome. We're taking away that wear and tear of driving it over the road and the safety portion of it. Yes, we have to safely put them onto a trailer and take them, but working a couple of those in tandem, we feel that versatility, the ability to change heights on the decks, the ability to not have to take wide sweeping turns and then have another smaller mower come in and do all the edges, that these smaller mowers can do a large complex like Wildwood in an hour and have it done and completed. And if we get there and it's been raining for 4 or 5 days and the grass is really just exploded and really high, we can cut it twice, because the decks are 4 pins on each deck to lower the casters and set the deck height. So the versatility, going forward, versatility and time savings for us is a key, especially with our fertilization program and overseeding. We're growing healthy playing fields. We are, continuously having grass growing, fertilizer, we're overseeding, so we're filling in those spots. Being able to cut and move to the next complex is very important. So having 2 of these on a trailer will still keep our Jacobson large area, but we can dedicate these to maybe athletic fields and use our Jacobson for those other large areas that aren't in our fertilization program. Some of the big fields at schools, things like that can go and do that. So we do have, a need to replace the mower. One 16-foot mower is about $150,000. These 2 together are about $136 right now is what it would be to purchase 2, and then looking at about $12 to $14 for a trailer. So we can get 2 mowers, more versatility than purchasing 1 large. And I think our maintenance costs will go down because we're not driving them over the road.
So I think, I don't know, it's just a suggestion, maybe we put some time study data to it if we've, used that mower over the summer. Hey, we were able to cut more acres per hour with this, and then, if there's a longevity benefit to this mower, I think that'd help get over the hurdle too. So, hey, these mowers last for 10 years, where the other ones only last 8 or something, maybe, again, just a way to help strengthen the argument, because I think two is better than 1 for sure, so.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the major question is, does this mean we'll get our field mowed
Yeah.
quicker, faster, more efficiently? The next question that's gonna come up is staffing. If you have 2 mowers, do you need more people in the maintenance team to support the extra mower that you now have?
Okay.
One other point, if you're late for work, you don't get stuck driving behind one of the things on the road. Big one on the road, I've been behind it
Well,
before.
the deck on these 12 feet,
There's 3-foot, 4-foot decks,
okay.
2 wings,
Yep.
and then 1 in the center.
And they flap up,
Yep.
and we're only gonna get 1 trailer, or why don't we get like two trailers?
1 trailer that would take both of them, so they will work as a team.
As a team?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Drop one off at one site, go to the next site, drop them off, come back, pick them up or something.
So somewhere like, the center of town. One could maybe go to, just playing, what could happen. One could start at Simon's, one could start at the Human Service Building. They could meet on the Common and finish, right? Or we can say they're dedicated to just athletic fields, and they're going and cutting athletic fields only, keeping them clean, so we're not mixing, going and cutting a park that doesn't have, it's not in the fertilization program, and taking that and going to Upper Rahanis, which is usually a very nice stand of grass, and the decks have the residue from the untreated area, and now you're mixing, bad seed and weed seed into a field that we're trying to keep the weeds and stuff out of. But they can also work, if they're working on the first example I gave, the center of town. They can start and meet in the middle, and then, go and clean their decks after that, before they go on to the next area. So the versatility, a little smaller, right? The actual zero turn, because the big 16-footers are not zero turn. Those are, stopping and have to have the room to turn, making, lost my train of thought, making very planned out turns on those, larger sweeping turns. Changes the cutting, so having that versatility of the zero turn is what we're looking at, helping. And, their trailering is the other part of it. We're looking to cut down on the maintenance. The preventative maintenance we'll still do, but, the wear and tear, the maintenance that comes from driving it over the road. You're trying to stay off to the side, so you're hitting all the sewer the drains on the side, the storm drains, and bouncing, and, then making sure we're safely getting out to cross a road. Having them on a trailer, yes, we are trailering them. They have to be tied down, and secured, but that wear and tear, we're hoping to eliminate. So, but getting time comparisons between the two, the hours, I'm sorry, I was writing when you asked the next question.
Yeah,
The
just
other-
if there's any longevity benefit, right? So do these last longer in some way, or, you know, can you stretch them out longer through maintenance, you know, something like that would be a good selling point, is just things I was thinking about. And then, you know, to Chairman Cosso's point, the labor required to run it.
Are we keeping the 16-foot for backup?
We will not keep the Toro. The Toro, we're gonna try to get it going, to keep it going. We're towing that now on a trailer, and we're towing the Jacobson on a trailer. Same trailer, because we only have one large that fits, so we are, you know, we were towing both, because over the road was just killing them. The Toro, we wouldn't put over the road anymore.
I noticed that I didn't see him driving.
Yeah.
Used to see him all the time.
Yep. So we were towing it in the fall.
Okay. And those are Toros we would be purchasing?
Yes, the ones we would be looking at would be Toros, the zero-turn, 12-foot Toros.
Quick follow-up, Madam Chair. You all set, Dave?
Yes.
Is there any trade-in value or resale value? Like, for example, would a golf course be interested in buying it and giving us a few dollars for it, or?
Yes, so we would try to do a trade-in. It wouldn't just be scrapped or considered surplus. We would trade it in. So there could be some saving, you know, some additional savings there. I connected with a Toro rep at the national conference, who's a regional, and I think New England is his region. And I did talk about any additional beyond the state contract pricing, and he said we sometimes work with, you know, municipalities if they're buying multiple units. So we will explore that as well, trying to get that price down, but we have to be realistic, and this is what it's going to cost us now, without any other additional, you know, trade-ins or additional discounts from Toro.
Anything else?
Set.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, the next item is replacing R11, which pickup truck. It is a 2015 Ford F-350. It has 92,000 miles on it. The bed of the truck is rotting. We've spent over the lifetime of the vehicle $28,000 in repairs. So it is not the oldest truck, but due to its current condition and the amount of money we've spent on it, it is time to replace it. There was another vehicle that was a 2014, but we spent a lot less on it in the repairs. Whatever that reason is, if it's just the unluck of the draw and that vehicle when we received it, but we have put a lot of money into it. It is, like all of our vehicles, used every day. So we would like to replace that with a new F-350. It'll be equipped with the plow package, everything. It'd just be a brand-new 350. We have also discussed the possibility of having it a crew cab. So, you know, if it were on the cutting crew, so the smaller zero turns, that we could put a full crew into one vehicle in towing something, right? So now you have a crew cab, so you can have up to 5 people going on that. So 3 summer help, maybe 2 full-timers, or, you know, 3 or 4 summer help and a full-timer running that cutting crew. They're all going in one vehicle. We're not sending out 2 or 3 vehicles to go to one site. We're sending out one, and it's moving around town, cutting, loading back up, moving on. So we are exploring that as well, that option. So that would be $90,000.
Quick question. Do we have bed liners in our trucks?
Yes. They
They still rot?
sprayed on, or, yeah, it's the underbody of them.
Okay, so
That
it's
starts
not
to rot.
like, okay.
Yep.
And 92,000 miles though. What were the repairs? Just stupid stuff?
It's been, I don't have a list, but I know it's brakes a lot of times. I can get a list of exactly what the
Well,
maintenance has.
they'll ask us that.
Yep, yeah, and
That's
maintenance
the first
has
thing they're
that.
gonna ask us.
Let's see. I will get that. Our fleet maintenance for the town has that.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Brendan, does the existing truck that we have, does that have a plow package?
Yes, yep, so we're mimicking what we had, just a newer model in the plow package. Yes, all of our vehicles that drive on the road have to have plows.
We're going to
Is
keep
there
the
precedent?
old one on the road, or are we going to, again,
So I
trade it
did
in?
have that conversation with fleet maintenance. We can probably keep it for a summer after, but it is getting to the point where we need to remove it. When the sticker winds, goes out on it, that's when it goes.
Probably shouldn't be plowing with it. That's some issues.
Going to have to this winter, it will have to,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
So, just to have, in addition to these, we're working with the select board on a warrant article for the renovation of the gazebo and the town common walkways. So we're waiting on an estimate for the walkways. The gazebo, we should have in early December, have an idea of cost there. The roof is fine, but we're talking about the supports, the railings, the stairs, all need to be updated, and the railing systems are failing. Just in our conversations with the contractor, the railings are 9 feet currently, but the standard railing is an 8-foot railing, right? So we have that kind of, it's a beautiful gazebo, but we kind of have that custom, right? So he's trying to find the best way to do it with keeping the openness of the gazebo and not adding more supports, but also using the angles that are there now in the gazebo. So it was a local contractor that was recommended to us, and then we also have a local contractor that does cement work to look at all of the walkways. So what we would be doing on the walkways is matching the existing walkway that comes down from Town Hall. So I believe it's a 6-foot cement walkway, concrete walkway. There's also a 6-foot concrete walkway that came from, is it 29, right next to Town Hall, the old bank, that's now Youth and Family Services, that comes down behind the Rotary Fountain, doing all the walkways like that. They have lasted, they can take our vehicles driving over them when they need to, and it allows better accessibility for everybody. Some of ours, they're paved walkways now. We're hoping to be able to get this project done next summer between Celebrate Burlington and Truck Day. It's a very aggressive schedule for us, but if we can get a majority of them done, maybe we can do that. But we're hoping not to have to wait longer than that. Hopefully, it's an article that is successful at town meeting, and I think it's well overdue. But we're also planning to request continued funding of the athletic field improvement warrant article that was established at town meeting in May. And then the possibility of adding a request for walkways, fencing, and trees. So a lot of, tree work pops up. We don't have the money in our operating budget. There's very little for those extra things. Necessities, right? But they are beyond what we have built into our budget. fencing in parks, schools, athletic fields, we can take care of out of that athletic field. But, you know, perimeter fencing at schools, we can do some repairs, but when it comes time to do larger jobs like perimeter fence, let's say at like Francis Wyman, as you're driving out of the school, the far side, down towards the sub-fire station, that side of the property, you know, it's an old fence. It's okay if it's in good shape. It can be rusty, it is, but, you know, going forward, it's, you know, gets lots of plow damage because we pile snow on the edges at points, so it starts to fail. We don't have anything like that, and we don't have anything for walkways, either, replacing walkways. We have had a request to do the walkway from Lantern to the back, is it Lantern to the back side of Wildwood Park? No. What's, Liberty, thank you. Lantern's over by Regan. So from Liberty in, you know, it's paved part of the way, but then over years, you know, when the school was out of commission and it just sat vacant, that walkway was never done over. That is, you know, right now it's gravel, part paved, you know, a walkway like that. Walkways at Regan, we don't have any, you know, there's no money in our budget. They'd have to be larger projects. So if we can establish, you know, similar to the athletic field improvement for walkways, trees, and fencing, I think that will help us going forward. There's stuff that was identified in, you know, in the outdoor facility master plan, but we need to be able to fund these. So having that discussion, whether it's added on to the athletic field and a certain portion can be used for tree work and walkways and fences, that we're open to that. But we need to look at funding sources for those if they're not gonna let us increase our budget by more than the 3.5% that we have over the last few years. So those are other items that we're working that aren't capital in our normal capital plan or traditional capital plan, but things we are looking at as well and having discussions on.
Questions, comments?
Madam Chair, a couple of questions and comments. Brendan, usually around this time in November, sometimes it's December, we find out what the certified free cash number is. Have we heard anything about that?
I have not heard anything as of yet, usually.
Can you inquire and just shoot us an email?
Yep.
And the other comment I was going to make is the renovation of the town common is really kind of a community-wide warrant article, and I don't think the rec warrant articles ought to be, this should be counted with the rec warrant articles. This is a community article, and I would hope that the town side is not going to pressure the rec department to cut back on others, because there's this $400,000 requirement to fix the bandstand and to improve the walkways. I mean, that's for the whole town's enjoyment.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, we are working with them, and if they say, well, that, you know, with the town administrator's office, that's just a little too much right now, yes, I wouldn't want it held against ours as well. So that's why we are working jointly with them to come up with a plan, and whether we have to phase it, as long as we don't want it to affect our requests. Yep.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I think we should, on the other article you want for the walkways, fencing, and trees, blend it in with the athletic fields. We just put it on the warrant that we can dedicate that money
X number.
to these,
Okay.
instead of coming up with another warrant article that, you know, I think it would be easier to go through town meeting as, because we had said we wanted it to continue, and they were pretty favorable with that. But I think if we went in there with a whole other thing, because even on the athletic field improvements, we have used fencing, we're putting up new backstops. So we just put into the warrant, you know, walkways and trees, which would be, you know what I mean? Because that's all part of the athletic fields. Anyway, most of our fields have fences around it. And then the trees, I know we've talked to people in the community about, and trees are constantly in the parks been a nightmare for us, especially during the storms, winters and stuff, so, and it's not cheap.
No.
It's not cheap, so I think if we, would be my opinion. I don't know if any of you guys.
Just to
wanna
clarify,
vote.
Dave, you're saying add the 50 to the 200, or just blend it in with the 200?
Blend it in. So, we were talking maybe going up anyway with our request per year, sort of like how they did it with the walkways in the town. Every year, it's sort of in the budget with like the computers for the schools and updating. It's just in there every year, but instead of coming up with two separate, another warrant article,
Increase the scope of the other one.
increase the scope.
I think we would have to increase it by 50,000, because we want to be able to cover those.
But we also put the walkways, trees, what it's, the athletic improvement was more for improving the fields.
Correct.
And the fencing and the backstops and benches.
Yep.
For the fields. This would give us a little bit more leeway towards trees, and fencing. Am I wrong on that, or what do you think?
I see where you're going with the fact that it would cause confusion between, maybe town meeting members where there's two different articles, both of them around improvements. Why are they asking for two? So I get consolidating them would make it more simple. So it would just be like one improvement warrant article in order for maintenance and improvement. So I get that piece of it, because again, we're not asking for another thing.
Right.
It's consolidated. Again, it won't cause confusion of somebody going, well, you just said you did fences on this one, why are you doing fences here? So I get where Commissioner Norton is coming from there.
Maybe it could be titled, we can look at changing the title, increasing the amount by 50,000 and calling it athletic field and park improvement, and dedicating 50,000 for fences, walkways, and tree work, and then the other 200 is going towards athletic fields. So,
Maybe easier to keep it a percentage versus.
Is that what you were looking for anyway, 50,000 separately on this?
yes,
What do you think?
I think we need to add the 50, Dave, to the 200, but I don't know if town
We
meeting got the
talked about,
impression.
we were in last year in the meetings with these subcommittees, and
Yeah,
they were
Ways and
saying,
Means sub, yeah.
they said you should, that's what residents want. They want the improvements of our parks
Yeah, I know
and
they do.
fields.
But was there any, like, promise to town meeting that it was gonna be 200 every year? Every year, we're gonna come back for 200. Did we say that?
the idea would be, so we've been tracking the projects that we've been doing, right? And going, and that there be visual improvements that they can see, and then asking for the 200 or potentially more if we needed it. So there was that potential to go up, but it was going to be at least the 200.
Okay.
And it's up to them each year, right? So,
I think that one good thing that Dave is on to is that if they're looking to cut back and we've got a 200 and a 50, they'll cut the 50 out,
right,
So if we blend it in with the 200,
Yep.
it's just an up or a down. So I think there's an advantage, a tactical advantage to adding it into the 200 rather than having it as a separate standalone article.
yep. And, yes, and they can approve any amount in there, right? If they say,
can
you
make
know
a
what?
motion to reduce it.
Yeah, we want to reduce it by 50,000, but we like your 50,000, we're going to just fund it at 200, and you can do trees and walkways out of it as well. Because right now, it is set up for athletic field improvements. So fertilization, irrigation, improvements of backstops, infields, infield mix, things like that.
Okay.
So, that was our capital stuff. I just wanted, those weren't dedicated under our capital plan for our department, but were capital items that do touch our department.
Move on to budget.
Sure. The next item is our FY '26 budget. So we have not received budget guidelines for FY '26 yet, but anticipate them to be similar to past years, 3% to 3.5% increase. As has been the case in the past, that will prove difficult with projected salary increases to be the same. We are in the beginning stages of exploring staffing increases in both therapeutic recreation and maintenance, and we're really trying to think outside the box to make these happen without large increases to our operating budget. When we receive the guidelines for FY '26, we'll share them with you, and our real discussions can start then. But I know that town's not looking to add full-time equivalents. So we're trying to think outside the box on how we can do that, without making large increases to our budget. And, maybe there's some ways that we can do that somehow. So we're putting our minds together to do that, and hopefully we have a somewhat more clear plan when we get these guidelines, and we can move forward. And if it's not this year, maybe it's, FY '27 and '28 where we look to add. So as soon as we get guidelines, we'll share them. And, it's usually this time of year, and I know they've moved calendars up. We usually have a meeting after Thanksgiving to discuss budget. This year, capital jumped ahead, as they try to rework that and get a better financial picture for requests before Ways and Means.
Okay.
So we'll vote on these in December.
We'll vote on the capital. We'll get you out more backup. We'll get the capital I'd like to vote on in December, and I'm going to guess if we have 2 meetings in December, or, the next one's in early January, we'll probably be discussing budget at that point.
All right, any other questions? Okay. Any need for an executive session?
Not at this time.
Okay. Next meeting. When do you think you'll have the materials ready for?
We'll work on them this week, getting them out as soon as possible, but I would say right after Thanksgiving at the latest. So if we want to look at the 9th of December.
9th works for me, I don't know.
That works for me.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So we will go for December 9th, 6 PM?
Okay.
Okay. Do you think that'll be enough for December? I mean, that takes you right into the holiday, so.
Yeah, I don't want to say yes, but depends on how quickly we get budget information.
Okay, all right, so we'll stick with the 9th for now. Okay. All right. Now I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.